Hello and welcome to your daily science update. From the moon all the way down to our DNA, we've got quite the update for you today. We're going to cover humanity's big return to the moon, a discovery that's rewriting what we thought we knew about our distant ancestors, and some amazing breakthroughs in the fight against superbugs.
All right, first up, let's head to the launchpad. NASA is taking a massive step toward putting astronauts back in orbit around the moon. The Artemis II mission just cleared a really critical test.
So what they did was a wet dress rehearsal, which is basically a full-scale practice run for launch day. On February 19th, the team went through the whole 9 yards, a complete countdown simulation, which meant fully fueling up that enormous Space Launch System rocket, the SLS.
And I mean fully fueling. We're talking more than 700,000 pounds of supercooled liquid hydrogen and oxygen poured into that rocket. What's really impressive, though, is that the team pulled this off even with a minor communications glitch that forced them to switch to a backup system. That just goes to show how solid their procedures are becoming.
The big milestone they hit is called the replenish phase. NASA officials confirmed it, and this is the point where the tanks are totally full and they're just keeping them topped off right before the final moments of the simulated launch. It's pretty much the last major hurdle you have to clear before you're truly ready for liftoff.
Now, if you remember, the first attempt back in early February had to be scrubbed because of a hydrogen leak. That's been a tricky problem. It even plagued Artemis I. But this successful second test on the 19th, it puts the whole mission right back on track. This really paves the way for a potential crewed flyby of the moon, maybe as early as March 6th. It's getting close.
Okay, so from humanity's future in space, let's jump way back to our distant past. We've got some incredible new discoveries coming out of the Stone Age that are literally rewriting what we thought we knew about early human societies. So this story takes us to a 5,500-year-old burial site in Sweden called Ojvad. And what researchers are doing is analyzing ancient DNA from the remains of hunter-gatherers there. What they're finding is just blowing minds. It turns out Stone Age family structures were way more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined. This just completely shifts our thinking. The old assumption was, if people were buried together, they were probably an immediate nuclear family. Mom, dad, kids. But the DNA evidence coming out of Uppsala University shows that extended relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins were often buried together. And get this, in one really stunning example, a young woman was buried with her brother's 2 kids, not her own. That tells us these wider kinship ties were incredibly important. Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, a totally different kind of ancient story is unfolding. It looks like new climate data might finally solve the mystery of what happened to Homo floresiensis. You might know them as the hobbits of Indonesia. So how did scientists figure this out? Well, they analyzed the chemical layers inside cave stalagmites. These things are like amazing natural climate archives. By studying them, they could map rainfall patterns over thousands of years. And what they found was a huge dramatic drop in rainfall on Flores Island right around 61,000 years ago. And the result? It was absolutely catastrophic for the local ecosystem. We're talking a prolonged, severe drought that dried up freshwater sources and caused a population collapse of the pygmy elephants, the stegodon, which were the hobbits' main food source. So, with their water and food gone, they were likely forced out of their highland caves and went into a steep decline. Right around the same time, modern humans were first showing up in the region. Okay, we're about to dive into some major breakthroughs in medicine. But real quick, if you're enjoying this update and finding it valuable, it would be a huge help if you took a moment to like and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more daily science news. All right, let's turn to health and medicine now, where scientists have come up with some incredibly powerful new tools to fight disease. We're talking everything from reversing antibiotic resistance in superbugs to finally finding the body's natural off switch for inflammation. First up, this could be a real game changer in the fight against superbugs. Researchers down at UC San Diego have developed a tool using CRISPR technology that does something amazing. It doesn't just kill resistant bacteria, it actively flips the switch and reverses their resistance. So here's how it works. It's like a gene drive. It gets into bacteria through a natural process, kind of like bacterial mating. Once inside, it uses CRISPR to hunt down and disable the specific genes that provide antibiotic resistance. But here's the really brilliant part. It doesn't just fix one bacterium. The newly cured bacteria then go on to spread this fix to other resistant bacteria, essentially neutralizing entire populations, even the tough ones hiding out in those protective biofilms. And in other huge medical news,
Researchers think they finally found the body's own natural off switch for inflammation. And let me tell you, this is a big deal, because chronic inflammation is at the root of so many different diseases, everything from arthritis to heart disease.
So the key players here are these fat-derived molecules called epoxyeicosatrienoics, and their whole job is to naturally tell overactive immune cells to just calm down. This discovery is so important because it could lead to new drugs that just boost these molecules, so you could turn off harmful inflammation without completely suppressing the entire immune system, which is a major side effect of a lot of current treatments.
And just a couple more quick health updates for you. First, you know that old myth that your brain stops developing at age 25? Well, a new study has officially debunked it. Turns out our brains continue to develop and change well into our 30s. And second, some good news for heart patients. New research shows that for about 20% of people getting a common valve replacement, it's actually safe to go home the very same day. That's a huge step forward for patient recovery.
And finally today, let's wrap up by looking at a few innovations that are really shaping our future world. We've got some amazing breakthroughs in materials science, energy, and even agriculture.
Okay, we've got a trio of incredible advances here. First, in materials science, researchers used AI to scan almost 70,000 different compounds to find replacements for rare earth minerals. This could be huge for breaking our dependence on a really fragile supply chain. Then you've got a new type of sodium-ion battery that not only stores double the energy of older versions, but get this, it can actually desalinate seawater while it operates. And finally, a massive breakthrough for food security. Scientists have pinpointed the exact immunity gene in a wild banana that could save our commercial crops from the devastating Panama disease. Just incredible stuff.
And that is your science news update for today. We'll be back with another one for you in 24 hours.